Are you embarking on your first cruise and looking for some help, some tips? This video is the answer for you, and I'm even going to chat to some first-time cruisers, and when we finish our chat with them, I'm going to go back to the office and I'm going to give you some tips to help you cruise better. Hi Colin, Liz.
Hi Karen.
Hey.
Hi Phil.
So how long has it taken you to get on your first cruise, Cole?
20 odd years.
20 years. And why haven't you got on a cruise?
Exhibit A.
Sorry Liz, had to start with that one. So are you happy you've done it now?
Definitely.
Okay, and Cole?
I knew it would be good. I just had to try it and be satisfied. So yeah, it's been great.
Awesome. What were your expectations before boarding the ship?
I thought I was going to be seasick all the time, and I also thought that I would be really claustrophobic in my cabin, and thankfully neither of those things happened, so yeah, very excited for that.
I thought, would we get value for money? I wasn't sure about that. But yeah, pleasantly surprised, especially dining. The food quality that's included in your fare is awesome.
I was about to ask if anything has caught you by surprise, so I'm guessing the food. Do you want to elaborate on how the food's caught you by surprise?
Well, the food choices, number one, like every sit-down meal, whether it's breakfast, lunch or dinner, you have choices, so it's not like you're getting one or two things and that's it to choose from. And so far, everything we've had has been really lovely, so and surprisingly tasty, and yeah, can't ask for more.
And the menu changes every day, like you're not getting the same thing each day, and so you just need to pick a different option off that same menu, which is, yeah, been really nice surprise too.
Apart from the food, what else have you enjoyed about life on the ship?
Just relaxing. Shore day was brilliant. That was really fantastic. Listening to the ocean, kind of being rocked to sleep at night, that's been really cool as well, which I didn't expect. So actually there hasn't been anything much at all that I haven't enjoyed. Probably waiting for the lifts is about the only thing that's been a little annoying, but that's a small price to pay.
Need to do the steps on the stairs.
Yeah.
Pay off for the food. But yeah, for me it's probably just been having a space to enjoy, coming on with good friends and being able to relax. Looking at that view out the back from the Oasis bar area is awesome. So if you want somewhere to relax, that's where I can recommend, because you just got the best view. The breeze is lovely. You're not in the stinking sun, and it's just, yeah, really nice vibe. So yeah, that was it.
Because we didn't spend much time at all in the Oasis Lounge, did we?
Only 3 out of the 4 days.
It did become our haunt. So is there anything that you haven't enjoyed?
No, actually, nothing at all. No.
Yeah, no. Only critique really is the lifts, but that's a small price to pay when you're ferrying a lot of people up and down that have places to go, and that's just the only thing. But yeah, really, when you're going down, my advice is take the stairs, because it's a lot easier than coming up. Save your wait time for the lift coming up, because it's well worth it. But yeah, take the stairs and go down.
On a practical note, is there something you wish you had have learned or known before you boarded the ship?
Maybe the only thing would be if you're a snacky person, or if you've got kids that want snacks, you know, out of dining hours, just pack them. I'm not sure if you can sneak them on or not. That's probably about the only thing, actually.
Yeah, because P&O is a bit, you need to pay for everything, can't they? So yeah. Is there an experience on this ship that has taken you by surprise and just the highlight of your trip?
Well, given the food has been so awesome, I think the unsung hero on P&O cruises by far is the toilets. They work superbly. I've never seen anything like it, let alone heard anything like it, but it's awesome. So they are the unsung hero of the trip, because they are brilliant. So
They do their job and don't complain.
it looks like it won't work, but trust me, it works. Yeah.
The all-important final question. Will you cruise again?
Definitely we'll cruise again, for sure. When? Don't know,
but
we absolutely
it's on the
will.
agenda now. We love it. So
And will you cruise with those daggy friends again?
maybe not. No, of course we will. No, we will. That's a key thing. If you can come on with great friends, it makes the trip so much nicer. But look, if you didn't have anyone that you could travel with, I still think you would find a way to have such a good time. So yeah, well worth it. This is lucky Phil.
I do like putting Phil on the spot. Note of coming in on your own, how easy is it to make friends?
On your own?
Well,
that's pretty easy.
If you don't come with friends. Thinking about your experience today.
Yeah, just standing and waiting for you to do a water slide, just chat with this bloke, so that was good. But but when we've done other cruises, we've shared tables at dinner, and that's a good way to get to know people that you don't know, and that's been really good. That's been nice.
Yeah, but it's really easy.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for sharing your experience.
Thank you for all of your tips, helping us. We definitely got a lot more out of this experience.
It's been great fun to have you on.
It's been awesome.
We'll cruise with you anytime.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you're watching this video, please help Karen out, like and subscribe. You'll pick up lots of travel tips and have lots of fun along the way watching the videos.
Thanks, Colin Liz, for that endorsement and for giving us your time. We're going to go and enjoy our evening, and I'll meet you back in the office where I'm going to give you some more tips and things that we've learned along the way to help you prepare for your next cruise, no matter who you're cruising with. Welcome back to my office. It's a couple of weeks post-cruise now, and I thought I would go through some of the things to expect as a first-time cruiser getting on board, what you'll find in your room, some of those other things that can come into play when you're planning a trip, and also some of those things that I've found quite useful in helping me set up our cabin as we cruise more and more. You've probably heard it said before that quite often one of the most exciting things about a trip is the planning of the trip. And it's no different for a cruise. You start planning your trip way before you get on board. You don't just pay your deposit and then pay your final payment and that's it. You go through, there's a check-in process that you need to do online, and there's a few things that will come into play on embarkation day that we're going to talk about in a minute. Get to know your cruise line's website. On there you will find out useful information like the types of power you can use, prohibited items, so things that you assume you might be able to take on board that you actually can't. And sometimes those rules aren't just in place by the cruise line, but they're actually put in place by the Port Authority. And some of those items, if they're confiscated, would be permanently confiscated. There's also lots of other tips about life on board that particular ship. As we progress through some of these tips, I'll also refer you back to the website when it will be useful to get some of that pre-cruise information, so once you get on board, you can have the best time possible. I want to start on embarkation day because that is when you arrive at the port and your cruise begins. There will be a place to drop your bags where they will then make their way mysteriously, magically to your cabin later on in the day. So as part of that though, I would also advise that if you're looking to get straight into holiday mode straight away, take a carry-on with swimmers, any medication you may need, even a change of clothes for later in the day. We've only had one time where a bag's been late, and that was because we had a prohibited item in it that we didn't know about. Lesson learnt the hard way. If you take a bag with all of those first day essentials, you're ready to, once you get on board, just to start your cruise. Our last cruise, we actually dropped our bags at 8:30 in the morning because we were staying at a hotel just down the road from the cruise port. So I think that probably helped our bags get to our room quite quickly because they were early in the process. So the earlier you can drop your bag off, the better. But that doesn't necessarily mean you'll be able to board the ship. There's usually an opening time for boarding and you are allocated a boarding time. So most ships it's usually around 11:30 where people can start boarding the ship. But as I said, you'll be allocated a boarding time. Sometimes you can get on earlier than that. On our last cruise we were able to do that. Other times you may have a class of cabin, like you might be in a suite or something else that will give you anytime boarding. The next cruise we're on priority boarding for the time that we're allocated. So I'm going to see if I can get in a little bit earlier. I do like to get on board as soon as possible. We've got that allocated time. Next time we won't be dropping our bags off as early because we're boarding in Barcelona. So once we get to the port, we'll probably want to stay there. But we may even carry our bags on with us because we will be there about the time the cabins are due to open. When you arrive at the port, you're going to put your bag at the baggage drop. You're going to have to print out a tag that lets the cruise line know whose bag it is and what room it needs to go to. They have a specific little tag that you print off. So usually they sort of say you can staple it onto the bag and it will be fine. But I've got these little cases so that then you're not worrying about trying to find sticky tape or staplers the day that you embark, and your bags will magically make it to your cabin. When you get up to the check-in counter, so you've done your online check-in, but you will need to go and check in before you actually board the ship, and at that point you may get your cruise card. Now, it's not always guaranteed now. Some of the cruise lines have changed. You may get when you get to your room, it'll be waiting for you so that you can get into your room. With P&O Australia, we still got our cruise card at check-in, so we were able to go and get a drink if we wanted to before we went to our room. As you can see, I use lanyards. It's just an easy way to not lose them. I know they're going out of fashion a little bit now. People are putting their cruise cards into like card holders on the back of their phones if you've got one of those, or in your, like Phil's got like a little wallet for his phone, so he could put his in there if he wanted to, but we did still use lanyards on our last cruise. A cruise card is your key to everything. Not only does it act as a room key, but it is also your ticket to getting on and off the cruise once you've boarded. So if you do have a cruise that has ports involved, then you'll need to scan this on and off. Another thing is that this becomes basically your currency once you're on board. You usually either link your credit card to it, or you can load a certain amount of money onto your card in the currency that the cruise line uses. And every time you get a drink or you go and buy something in a shop, they scan your card and it goes straight to your credit card or off that amount of money that you have put on your card to start. As you can see on ours, there's also a little drink icon. So for these P&O ones, that just told the waiters that we had a soft drink package. So if we wanted to order a soft drink, they would just see that everyone at the table was covered for a soft drink, and they would go and get us a soft drink and wouldn't have to scan our card. But we didn't have an alcohol package at all, so if we wanted to buy an alcoholic drink or a specialty drink of some sort, then they would just scan that and that would get added to our bill. Also on the card, see that number up there, that tells us what muster station we are in and if we needed to go there. So when we got on board, we watched the safety briefing video and then we went to our muster station and got our name checked off so that we knew where our muster station was. As I said before, there's a time that you can get on board the ship. There's also a time that you can get access to your rooms. It's usually after about 1 o'clock. They will open the staterooms and you can go through. On many cruise lines, they have the whole ship in like the morning that you embark, a whole cruise has disembarked, and so your amazing room stewards are racing around, turning over every room in the ship that was used. It's usually between 1 and 2 that the staterooms are open and you can get to go in. When you arrive in your stateroom, there's a whole lot of information. It's often on your bed or maybe on your desk area. And included in that is your daily newsletter, which gives you lots of information. On the front cover, it'll tell you what the theme of the day is, if there's a theme for dinner, any like weather updates, the time zone you're in quite often, if you're at a port day, what the port day is and any highlights in that port. It'll also give you the times that you'll be in port and so when is last on board. Then on the inside of the daily planner is actually where you plan your day, and it'll have a list of all of the activities that are available on board. Something that apparently, like the lanyards, is losing a bit of momentum and not quite as popular as it used to be, is taking a highlighter. You go through the planner the night before, you know what's going on the next day. If you highlight what's going on that you're interested in, there's less chance that you will maybe forget about it or miss it. The daily planner in paper form is not the only way that you can find out. Some ships may have touch screens throughout the ship where you can pull up the daily planner and just check where you're up to and what's going on. And they also might include maps to help you get around the ship. But the other way that you can do it is many cruise lines have their own app, and in that app you'll be able to do restaurant bookings or even spa reservations, anything involved with being on board. Cole and Liz actually quite liked the app. They were flicking in it and they could check your menus for the night for whatever restaurant you were going to see what was on offer for that day. The apps are really useful, and I'm looking forward to making sure I make use of the app more on our next cruise. You can download that before you get on board. You can use it even if you don't have internet on board. They have some way of making all of that work for you. Also, when you go into your room, the daily planner might not be the only thing, although it might remind you to do your safety drill. Quite often there'll be advertisements, extra advertisements about specials or invitations to different things. And also your tickets might arrive for any shore excursions that you've got or anything where you may actually need a bit of paper to get somewhere. While we're in our cabin and we're getting used to it, let's talk about storage, because usually on the first day you unpack. I've often heard it said that the storage in the cabin is quite tight, and if there are more than 2 of you in the cabin or you pack a lot, you may have a problem. On the P&O cruise, as you can see, we didn't have a problem. There was a massive walk-in wardrobe, a nice hanging space, and then there were a few other drawers in the actual cabin space as well. So we actually didn't use any of the drawers, we just used the cupboard and the hang-up space, but we packed fairly lightly. There are lots of videos on YouTube of cruisers who have different little hacks for how they deal with their room. As I said, we don't take a lot, so we don't need a lot of extra storage, but if you think you might want some extra storage, check out some of those other videos of people that do actually go and have found ways to get the most out of the space in their cabin. Something else in the cabin that you might want to consider is that there's not much power available. Another thing you'll find useful on the website is to check what sort of adapters they use. So our P&O cruise only had 2 Aussie plugs in the room. That's what they look like. You might need an adapter. So quite often a lot of the ships have US and EU adapters, or ships out of the UK might have UK adapters. So just check that before you're going, again on their website, so that you make sure you've got the right adapter with you. We've been using this power board with usually a UK or a European adapter on our last couple of trips because we have so much tech with us. For our next trip, I've actually bought a block charger. In the past we've just taken individual plugs, but I've bought one of these that has the prongs that come in and out. This one also has, so it has the 1 plug, but it also has a couple of USBs and a USB-C. Adapters are something really important to check, because you don't want to get on board and then have to go down and spy one on board, because it will be quite expensive. One of the biggest tips that's been a game changer for us, and I recommend it to everybody who's cruising, is magnets. Now these magnets are amazing. The ships most of the walls and stuff are made of steel if they're not lined with something different. Even the roof is steel, so magnets stick to everything. On our last cruise we had 2 near the door that we would hang our lanyards on, and then a couple in the change room area where we would put our hats. So when I got home and I was watching some videos on setting up cabins and what was new post-COVID and all of that, I saw a guy recommend that you put them on the roof in your bathroom. In the bathroom there's a pull-out clothesline, so if that gets too full, you could hang like your swimmers or a towel off these and they would be able to dry and have a bit more space. Another thing that I found that people are now using post-COVID and is a bit of a trend is these little like clip magnets, and they're a good idea. If you want to keep the right daily planner where you want it, then you just stick it there and you can have them on the wall and they'll be out of the way. If you know you've got a shore excursion the next day and you want to make sure you've got the tickets ready to go, you could put them next to your lanyard on a magnet so you don't lose them. So I'm looking forward to packing a couple of these next cruise. I inherited this one, but I love it and I've taken it on a few trips. Is this little peg hanger thing. It fits on a clothesline, and I actually, on our last cruise, we had a balcony, and I actually pegged this onto the bottom run of the chairs that were on our balcony, and so they were out of the way, and I could hang any undies or stuff that I'd hand washed on these so they would dry, they wouldn't blow away. It was nice and secure because it's Velcro all the way along. It is a great little idea. I've put some of those in the link below. For a first-time cruiser, keeping it simple, they would be the things that I would consider having in my stateroom. As I said, there's plenty of videos out there on how other people set up their staterooms, and they are quite creative. So usually before the cruise line will be advertising lots of things to you, sending you lots of emails, and I've got to say it's generally cheaper to pre-purchase stuff before you board. Our cruise deal actually included the soft drink package, so when we booked our cruise, the soft drink package was automatically included. We could have upgraded it, but we decided that we probably wouldn't drink enough. It's worth doing the math if paying the extra for a full drinks package is going to be worth it for you or not in the long run. We ended up just buying drinks as needed if we got alcohol drinks or specialty drinks like tea and coffee and all of that sort of thing. There are a few different drinks packages. So often there can be two types of soft drink packages, so we just had the basic soft drink package. You can pay a little bit extra and maybe get specialty teas and coffees included, but just check them out, and again, do the maths. Like, that would be my one takeaway. If a drinks package isn't included in your deal, do the maths to see if it's worth paying for, and you will get the value out of a drinks package or to buy as you go. And then you've got alcohol packages or specialty drinks packages as well, and often there's a couple of tiers of alcohol packages. So the first one might be that you can get, you know, drinks to the value of, you know, $15 or 12 euros or something like that. They're usually always in the fine print, so double check that you are going to get the drinks that you enjoy for the price you're going to pay. And then there's usually an ultimate drinks package. There may be a top price per glass sort of value that you can go to, but it is usually a lot broader. But again, do the maths to see if you're going to drink enough to warrant that. It's worth spending that, 20 minutes thinking about your drinks packages to see if it's worth it. Some of the other things that are good to buy before you board are maybe if you want to do a spa treatment or, do something special like that. Check the prices before you go on board. They do have specials when you are on board, but they may still be cheaper before you board, and if you pay for it ahead of time, it's less of a shock at the end of the cruise when you come up with this big bill at the end because you've added things as you've gone along. Other thing that you can pre-book is specialty restaurants. Let's just quickly cover food and how some of the structures work. Cruise lines usually have an included menu in your cruise line. There's usually the main dining room or a couple of dining choices in the main dining room area, a buffet or a market hall style eating area where it's usually got a longer opening hours where you can go in and have snacks and things like that. Some cruise lines you can get hamburgers and pizza. They might have a pizza bar where you have limited choices of pizza. Quite often you can get cookies and a few little pastry type snacks included, but then other ones you will have to pay. So P&O Australia, their base price is a fairly good price, but once you get on board, Their free food offering was quite limited, and we had to pay for everything, including cookies, which I was a little bit disappointed about, and they weren't good. I didn't like them. P&O had this marketplace type area, and it had a limited offering, but it changed every day, and so did their main restaurant menus changed every day. So it is possible to get variety. Will be enough if you didn't want to pay for a specialty restaurant. Again, check the website before you go on board so you know what you are entitled to in your base fare. Another way that you can make use of the specialty dining areas is to buy a food package, where it might be you can buy 3 or 4 specialty restaurant experiences for a set price, and then you book them in as you go. We've got some great deals on embarkation day with that. We have on our next cruise, we've pre-bought a trio. On the previous ones, as I said, we've usually done it when we've got on board. This last cruise was only 4 nights, so we did only one specialty restaurant, and that was Luke's, and it was amazing. You'll find on most cruise lines that they will upsell you all the time. You'll have people walking around trying to sell you restaurant experiences or spa treatments, or they'll be inviting you to an event where they'll offer you a wine or a champagne or make something special, but it's usually with the premise of getting you in to upsell you. And so be prepared for that. Just be polite to the crew. They're just doing their job, what the company wants them to do. It's not they're not the ones going, today I'm going to go and I'm going to hassle every cruiser and get them to spend money. Treat the crew like you would want to be treated. Cruising is a great way to travel and a great holiday. As I said, you can make it as busy as you like. We love cruising, and I am so glad that Col and Liz enjoyed their first experience and that we were able to go on the cruise with them. I want to take this moment to again thank them for sharing with us their impressions of their very first cruise, and I'm so glad it was a great experience for them. And I would love to hear in the comments below about your cruising experiences. What were highlights, or what made you question cruising? Let's get some community chit chat happening and share your cruising experiences. If you want to see how we got on embarkation day, check out this video here where Col and Liz experienced cruising for the first time, and we experienced the P&O Pacific Adventure for the first time. As always, thanks for joining us. Travel brilliantly. Bye.